Yeah, the internet is telling us, selling us this idea that we are the center of the universe. It enables us to choose everything that we listen to, choose the audience that listens to us, allow us to join and unjoin communities at will. And it gives us a very distorted version of the world. And when the world doesn't conform to the way we think it, we behave like children, and we have hissy fits, that we get very angry, upset. I think this is dangerous in political terms because it lends itself to charismatics like Grillo in Italy, internet politicians who use our anger that the world doesn't conform to the personalized version offered on the internet to create kind of mob political parties and mob rule. So anonymity is very dangerous, but that doesn't necessarily mean that we want a world where everyone has to reveal everything about themselves. We need to create a world where there's some sort of compromise between the NSA and anonymity. In Italy, I would argue that there's one profoundly good thing about the internet, is it represents the opportunity for youth, for young people, to rebel against the old. And the biggest political and cultural problem in Italy is its gerontocracy, is the fact that the old rule in an authoritarian, perhaps even a totalitarian way over the young. So in a good way, the internet offers an opportunity for young Italians to rebel against the old. The great tradition of Italian political thinking and writing has been to understand, to make sense, to explain and expose power. From Machiavelli through to Pareto to Gramsci, Italian political theorists have always been obsessed with identifying, making sense, and coming up with theories of power. And I tend to think that Pareto is still our best guide to making sense of the internet, because he argued in his theories of elites that there are always, whatever kind of society, there are always small groups of people who hold power and everyone else who doesn't. And he argues in his sort of cycle of history that every new revolutionary movement legitimized its own seizure of power around the idea of democracy. And I think the same is true of the internet. The internet has created a new kind of an elite which is centered in Silicon Valley, an elite dominated by companies like Google and Facebook and many other startups, and they're the ones who hold the power. They own the platforms of 21st century life, and it's very helpful to go back to Pareto to remind ourselves that power, like it or not, is always a reality, that democracy is an illusion and often used by the new elites, the people who hold power, to vindicate, to legitimize their own financial, political, cultural authority.